Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome dear students. This is a video for the subject of education for the course of Bachelors of Education and for the paper of Educational Technology Part 2. This video lecture is based on the approaches of educational technology, and here in this lecture we will be discussing the application of systems approach to the instructional system. This video lecture is recorded by Dr. Iram Khan. The course coordinator and the presenter of this video is Dr. Iram Khan from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. The academic expert or the reviewer of this video is Professor Jasim Ahmed from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. This video is produced under the project DTH Swayam Prabha Channels of Ministry of Education, Government of India. Hello my dear students, I am Dr. Iram Khan, Assistant Professor at Institute of Advanced Studies in Education, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Today, I am going to talk about one of the topics related to approaches of educational technology, and the lecture is going to base on the instructional system under the systems approach. Let us start the discussion first with the objectives. The objectives of this session are to discuss the structure of instructional system, to elaborate the systems approach for an instructional system, and to describe the phases or steps involved in the instructional system. So first let us try to understand what exactly we mean by the instructional system. The instructional work and the activities which are being given inside a teaching learning situation, they all may be seen to work as a subsystem of the entire education system. So here in a particular teaching learning situation, it may be found to work as a self-regulatory and independently functioning system along with its different constituents or the parameters. Let us see that what are these parameters or the constituents of the instructional system, or we have to see that what exactly is the structure of an instructional system. Try to see and understand this structure through this diagram. We can see that the first part of this system is the input, and here the input is all the teachers, the students, the curriculum, also the content, the instructional material, and all the things, all the resources which are actually got into the as an input into the system of education. After input, we have got the process. What exactly comes under the process? All the instructional methods, the strategies, and all the approaches which we are using here in the process of education or in the instructional process can be considered as the second step or second component of the instructional system. Then the next step is the obtaining of the output. And what we obtain in the output is when we attain the instructional objectives. The instructional objectives which are stipulated in the beginning itself. So once we attain the objectives, the instructional objectives, basically we can say that now the instructional system is complete. So input, then the process, then the output, and the surrounding environmental constraints or the environmental conditions, which are very important because they can make this process, this structure very kind of useful or successful, and even they can make it unsuccessful because if there is a adverse type of environmental condition, then the entire structure is going to disrupt. So this is the basic structure of an instructional system. Now we have to see that how the systems approach is applicable to the instructional system. Systems approach to the instructional system helps in understanding in the process of controlling and improving the structure and functioning of the system in view of the effective realization of the stipulated instructional objectives. You have to understand that this entire system, the instructional system, is working for what? Basically, it is working so that the output, which is the realization of the instructional objectives which are set in the beginning itself, they all should be attained. So here the entire system, the entire instructional system works in order to realize the goals or the objectives of the instructional process. It helps in the in basically providing the best possible solution to the problems related to the planning, to the process and the products of instruction. So basically, this is the gist that why the systems approach uh, is to be applied in the instructional system also. How it is useful, how it is helpful. If we are applying the systems approach in the instructional process, then how we can get the better outcomes. So this is somehow the point which actually makes it very clear that applying the systems approach to the instructional system is very much helpful for getting the best possible solutions to the problems which are related to the any sort of issues related to the instruction. It can be some problem related to the planning or to the process, or even to gain the exact products which are desired. Let us now go for the phases or the steps which are involved uh, in the application of systems approach in the instructional system. So once the analysis of the instructional system was done, uh, Robb in the year 1973 has marked three major phases in the system approach to the instructional system. What are these three phases? Robb has marked the three phases, which are planning, execution, and evaluation. So these are the three phases or the steps which are involved in the instructional system. Now, this number of the different phases or the steps has been increased to 6, and this was done in the work which is done by Jalaluddin in the year 1981. Let us try to see that what exactly all these researchers and educationists have given us, or have got to some sort of consensus that what exactly can be considered as the phases or steps which are involved in the instructional system. The first and the foremost step is the formulation of objectives. We have seen that when we are starting any of the process, or we are actually starting any of the systems, we have to have the objectives. The objectives are to be stipulated in the beginning itself. Then only we can start and we can take up the process in a better way. So this phase of formulation of objectives involves the specification of instructional objectives in terms of the expected behavioral outcomes. So this is the first step. The second step is related to the pre-assessment of the entry behavior of the student. Once the student is going to become the part of the system, then we used to take some sort of admission test, or we used to take like make some sort of analysis to know that what exactly is the entry level behavior of the student. This is what we can consider to be the step which is coming at the second place. So this is the pre-assessment of student entering behavior. In this step, attempts are made to assess the entry behavior or initial performance of the student with the help of suitable criteria. And this criteria can vary from one place to another, one institution to another. It can be difficult on the basis of what exactly is that institution's criteria, or can be easier on the basis of what exactly the college or school or any educational institution has made the criteria of selection or of uh, taking the students into the system. So this is the second step. The third step is the designing and development of the system. In the light of the instructional objectives and also the students' entry behavior or entering behavior, what is to be considered appropriate in terms of the inputs is basically chalked out. We used to plan and then design. The designing is done in the development of an instructional system. So on the basis of whatever are the stipulated objectives and the student's entry behavior, we used to plan the that what will be the input and how we are going to design and develop the instructional system. This process of the development of any of the instructional system can involve various aspects. What can be those aspects? Let us try to understand one by one. The first aspect can be that analysis of the task related to the instruction should be done. This is something which is very important because we need to analyze that what exactly should be the way in which we are going to plan the instruction. Then we have to devise the suitable teaching strategies or methods. So after the analysis, we have got some cues that what exactly is the need of the instructional system, what is the requirement, and on the basis of all those requirements and the goals which we have stipulated in the beginning, we have to create or we have to formulate the teaching strategies and also the methodology or pedagogy which we are going to adapt in this particular system. So this is the another aspect which we have to take care of. Then the selection of appropriate teaching aids, the resources, the material. In case we are using some sort of ICT, then what exactly will be the media which we are going to apply here? All these things are somehow selected. So selection of appropriate media, resources, material, teaching aids, everything is actually to be done. Then selection and organization of appropriate content. Because in the process of uh, providing instruction, in the process of formulating any of the instructional system, content is very important. So the learning experiences which we are going to impart to our students, all those systematic chalking out of those experiences, the content, which will be the reference books or the material which is going to be provided in the form of text to the student. Everything is basically selected and then organized in a proper manner. After that, we have to define and the assignment of roles to the various elements. By the elements, we can go for the input. In the input, we have seen there were teachers, there were students, there were other administrative workers, and all those people. The entire human resource and those who are going to become the initial part of the system. They are the elements to whom the roles will be assigned. So defining and assigning roles to the elements involved in the instructional system. That is something, this is the aspect which we have to take care of. All these aspects are to be taken care of when we are designing and developing the system, which is the third phase or step of the systems approach towards the instructional system. The fourth step or the phase is the operation or implementation phase or step. Here, this particular step is concerned with the actual operation or implementation of the instructional system. And in this particular phase, the roles and the functions of the elements or the instructional systems are appropriately integrated or synthesized for achieving the desired instructional objectives under the given conditions, under the given circumstances. So this is the fourth step. Then the next step is the evaluation of the outcomes. Under this phase, the student's attainment in the form of the output is basically evaluated. And for what purpose? It is evaluated in terms of checking it or corroborating it with the stipulated instructional objectives, and this can be done on the basis of the post-test score. So suppose we have taken a pre-test in the beginning, and then we have implemented the process of instruction, and we want to see that what exactly is the level of output, what is the impact of the instruction on the level of students' understanding or attainment of knowledge. Then we can take a post-test and we can compare the results of the pre-test and the post-test. It will give us the result which will let us know that what is the change or the outcome which we have received after providing some sort of instructional process to the students. So this is somehow the fifth step, which is the evaluation of the outcomes. The sixth step is the improvement of the system. So on the basis of whatever we have evaluated, we have to make some sort of changes, or if the system is working very properly, then we can uh, stick with the type and method in which we have developed the system. Basically, this step is concerned with the improvement of the system on the basis of the feedback which is received from the process of evaluation results. And this is aimed to improve the effectiveness of the entire system in terms of attainment of the specified objectives. So if we have got some results where we find that there is a change required in the system, then we can go for changing it. And if we see that everything is working properly and we are attaining all the specified objectives, then we can stick to the plan and we can go ahead with the system which is running in a proper way. So this is somehow the sixth step, which is related to the attaining of feedback and implementing it and improving the system, so that we can attain the best possible outcomes. So in this way, the technique of the systems approach can be properly applied to understand, to predict, and to control the elements and basic parameters of the educational system and its subsystems in a given situation to achieve specified objectives in the most economical and scientific way. It provides opportunities to modify and improve the system as best as possible in the light of the evaluation of the outputs and also the outcomes in relation to what we have inserted, or what was the input, and what was the process which was applied, and what was the environmental constraints and the stipulated objectives which were set in the beginning. So in terms of all those elements, we used to evaluate the system so that we can see that whether the best possible result is obtained or not. So a teacher, when the teacher is inside this instructional process and the teacher is working on any of the instructional process, this teacher may be in a position to develop a suitable instructional design in terms of the planning and execution of the teaching task, which is based on the feedback provided by the system approach. So the system, if we are applying the systems approach in the system, uh, we as a teacher can actually make our strategies, our instructional process very much appropriate. We can see that sort of best possible outcomes can be achieved if we are following a system. Everything will be what we are expecting to get from our students, what we are expecting to impart and receive as the outcome. If we are following a sort of systems approach in the instructional process, it will be easier for us to achieve the best possible outcome. Let us now just try to recapitulate what we have studied. We have seen that the systems approach to the instructional system helps in the understanding, the controlling, and the improvement of the structure and functioning of the system in view of the effective realization of the stipulated instructional objectives which are set at the beginning itself. Then the implementation of systems approach provides the best possible solution to the problems which are related to planning, the process, and the products of instruction. We have also seen that there are three major steps, but once we go ahead and uh, try to know more, then we have seen that various researchers have given six major steps. So the six major steps involved in the implementation of the systems approach in the instructional process, they are: the first one is the formulation of the instructional objectives, then the pre-assessment of student entering behavior or the entry behavior, then designing and development of the system, and after that operation or implementation phase. Then we have got the fifth phase, which is evaluation of outcomes, and then the last phase, which is related to obtaining the feedback, and on the basis of the feedback we can go for the improvement of the system. So this is somehow the six major steps which are involved in the process of the systems approach when we apply the systems approach in the instructional system. So this was all for today. We will meet with each other in another session another time. Try to learn more and apply a system in whatever you do, whatever you go for. Applying a system will make you more organized, and you can gain better results in whatever you are going to do in your daily life activities. So these are few of those references and the suggested further readings which were used while the development of this lecture. You can also go ahead and study more related to the systems approach and its implementation and other aspects related to applying a systems approach in any walk of life. So this was all for today. Let us see with it to each other in another session, another time, some other day. Okay, thank you so much. Goodbye. Dear students, you are watching a video which is related to approaches of educational technology. And in this lecture, we discussed about the implementation of systems approach to the instructional system. This video lecture was recorded by faculty at home during the homebound situation of COVID-19 pandemic using minimal technical resources. Technical errors, if any, are unintentional and may please be ignored. For any queries with regard to this lecture or broadcast, kindly send your email to techsupport@dth.ac.in. Thank you so much.